mình thấy là rõ ràng nó sẽ mang một lợi ích và nó có những cái tiềm năng rất là lớn. Nhưng mà nông dân thì quy mô sản xuất nhỏ, vốn đầu tư thì lại ít, và thậm chí là về các kiến thức để mà có thể làm một cái quy trình khép kín giống như một cái farm nó khép kín thì nó rất là khó. Như vậy thì trong bối cảnh này theo ông thì nhà nước cũng như các doanh nghiệp sẽ cần có những cái việc làm như thế nào để thúc đẩy cái kinh tế tuần hoàn phát triển ở đồng bằng sông Cửu Long?
I agree totally that the level of education of farmers, but not only farmers, also of, for instance, the staff of DART is too low. That a lot of energy should be put in capacity building, in training farmers, but also training the staff of the agricultural departments.
Yeah.
That should be priority number one. But having said that, I am not promoting farmers to change to a new model. What I'm promoting is that farmers adapt the items that are interesting to them. So there should be demonstration fields where farmers can see parts of the circular agriculture and they can take what is interesting to them. I've been working with farmers all over the world, and there's one thing that they are the same in. The farmers, they are very risk avoiding because they have to live with the nature and with the weather. So they only do something new if they are convinced it works. So the best thing is if a neighbor farmer is doing something and making profit with it, then a farmer will also do it. So again, don't push for change to a new model, but just help farmers to slowly adapt to a better system and have them get back to original farming.
Muốn hỏi thêm, thí dụ như vậy thì ở góc độ của ông Steven đó, thì các cái doanh nghiệp, thí dụ như các cái doanh nghiệp mà có thể thu mua những cái phẩm, tại vì có thể là một bà con thì không thể có một cái mô hình hoàn thiện, thì thí dụ như bà con bà con có thể tham gia vào một hai cái chuỗi nào đó, nhưng mà những cái sản phẩm sau cùng đó thì có thể có một cái doanh nghiệp khác để thu mua để đi vào một cái quy trình.
I hope there will be a big role for the companies because the situation now, and this is in most of the world, the distance between farmers and universities and the government, it's too big. It's too far. There's a great difference. You don't see people from the university or the government go stand with their feet in the clay on the fields of a farmer. There's usually not really talking. So if that is the case, then companies can come in. If a company, the purpose of a company is to sell a product or a service and making profit with it. And that is okay. It's a healthy way of living. If the farmer also can profit from it, long-term, sustainable, not just short-term, not just with fertilizer, not just with pesticides, but how about if companies help farmers to be able to produce their products without pesticides or fertilizer, for instance, with nets, for instance, with biological protection of the crop, or with drip irrigation. And their farmers, companies can be much closer to the farmers than the university or the government can be. So the government should set the rules in which the companies can operate. They should say what is possible, what is not possible. The university should help back up with scientific evidence that what companies sell is going to work. With building capacity, so farmers need to be better trained, better educated, and also the extension service needs to be better educated. Otherwise, companies will come and they can sell anything. Also